Right, so for those of you that don't know, Can't Pay Will Take It Away is a TV show that's on here in the UK. It follows a private firm calling themselves High Court Enforcement Officers, who execute High Court writs on people who have either failed to make repayments on their debts or are refusing to vacate a property. The show features violent confrontations, tearful debtors, downright lies, and genuine cases of hardship. But in today's video, we're going to be focusing on the freakouts. Coming up, we've got two of the wildest freakouts in the show's history, as we follow the enforcement officers carrying out an eviction and attempting to settle a debt. A lot of you guys have been asking me to do this series for absolutely ages, and there are so many good freakouts. So if this video does well, I'll definitely be doing a part 2. So yeah, if you enjoy this video, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. Alright, so first up, we're on a mission with Brian and Delroy. The officers are in Hampshire to collect payment or seize goods in order to settle a compensation claim following a road traffic accident.
Oh, there he is. I'll talk to him. Hello, sir.
Hello?
Do you live here?
Yeah, why?
I'm looking for Brian.
Why?
Are you him?
What are you doing there?
I'll tell you if you're him. Are you Brian? Sorry, I'm a High Court Enforcement Agent, sir.
A what?
High Court Enforcement Agent.
What for?
Well, if I know if you're Brian, I'll be able to reveal the details. Is it confirmed?
What are you looking for, mate?
You're not him?
No.
Right, so he's washing a car outside a house that the court says is Brian's home address. This guy says he lives there, but he doesn't know who Brian is. It's pretty suspicious, so Del isn't having any of it.
You said you lived here earlier.
I didn't say anything, mate.
I asked you if you... No, I asked you if you lived here.
But then, with almost comical timing, a neighbour calls out from across the street.
Ah, obviously you are Brian. You've been called.
Oh god, imagine that happening to you. I'd be absolutely fuming. If that was my neighbour, next time I saw them, they'd be getting an absolute battering. I don't care if it's the little old lady that lives next door just popping around to check in.
I heard a banging.
Fucking Mrs. Springett.
I need to speak to you about this High Court writ, mate. High Court writ.
So despite being outed as the Brian in question, the debtor is not cooperating. But unknown to him, the team have a High Court writ which allows them to enter his home to seize goods if he can't or won't pay. And this is where the trouble begins.
Now, come in here.
My colleague's got into your house.
What the fuck are you doing in there? Get out.
Calm down. Calm down, mate.
Get out.
No.
Get out.
No.
Get out.
No.
Get out.
Your hands off me.
No.
Your hands
Stop
off me.
There's someone in the house.
We're High Court Enforcement.
Get out.
Hold on, there's my ID.
Get out.
No.
We're High Court
problem.
Enforcement.
Get out.
Okay.
You haven't been welcomed in.
Don't need welcome.
Get out.
Will you calm down, sir?
No problem. No.
No, we're standing
sir.
here, sir.
We will talk to you here. Please get your hands off me. Please get your hands off me.
outside my house?
I will talk here with you, sir. Okay?
Can you stand outside my
No.
house?
No, sir.
Listen, sir.
Can you stand outside
You're
my
making a
house,
mistake.
please?
Get out.
Okay, well, let's
No,
talk
we
about
need
it.
to speak to
Get
him.
out.
Let me show you the paperwork I
Get
got.
out. I'll be outside.
No.
Get out.
No. Please take your hand off me. That's all I'm asking. If you don't take your hand off me, I'll call the police.
What is this about?
I'm a High Court Enforcement Agent, yeah?
Yeah.
We've got a High Court writ for Brian.
For what?
He owes Miss Kelly neighbour.
What's about my fucking insurance? You're gonna have to get out. If it's
No,
insurance,
we
get out.
don't have to get out.
Well, you're gonna have to deal with my insurance, mate. I don't know what
No,
you're
we don't, sir.
So this kind of talk continues for a while. Brian basically thinks that the insurance company are meant to pay, but the writ says that he's personally liable. The enforcement agents tell him to jump on the phone and sort it out with the insurance company, but he refuses and storms out of the house. The dad then refuses to let the enforcement agents in any further, so they end up calling the police. While the enforcement agent is on the phone, the debtor comes back into the house. But rather than coming back having cooled down, he comes back firing some pretty serious threats.
Yes, please. Yeah, I've got the debtor here and his father become obstructive.
Right.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to tell you now, if you
Thank
don't
you.
get out, you're going to get seriously hurt.
Cool.
And that's not a threat, that's a promise. Get
Okay.
out. We'll talk outside. Whatever you got
No.
to say outside of this door.
You didn't
I
want to
will
speak.
promise you now.
You didn't.
Know that.
You didn't want to speak outside.
You're gonna say, are you
Come
threatening
on,
me?
outside, you're in my
threatening me?
house.
No, that's fine.
Sir.
It's a promise. I'm telling you now, you're going to get hurt.
Okay.
Get out of the
Thank you.
house.
Please get out.
No.
He doesn't need to get
Get
to
out.
that, does he?
It does, well, it
Can I
does.
please
Get out of the
speak?
house.
Please.
I can say anything you need to outside. Come on, let's
say-
go.
Sir, don't touch me, sir. Please don't touch me, sir. Don't touch me. Look, no one's. Don't touch me,
This is your own
sir.
safety, mate. Get
Look,
out.
I'm just saying
Get
to you.
out. I
Look,
can't protect you from what he's about to do.
sir,
Get
look.
out.
Why is he talking like his dad's gonna go Super Saiyan at them? Like, come on now, what is he actually gonna do against these two absolute units? I mean, he kind of looks like one of those indie guitar players that plays warm-up gigs on second stages at grassroots festivals. Compared with Delroy and Big Brian over over here. Brian would have him for breakfast.
Look, sir, just wait.
Everyone, please.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Get out.
Look,
Get out. Trust me, you're going to get hurt.
Hold
Get
on.
out.
Look, just wait.
Get out. Come on. Don't talk about anything outside. Come on.
Hold on, just calm down. Look, just calm down. Look, stop it. Look, stop it.
Please get out of my house. Put my glasses. Put my glasses down.
I got him.
Out of my house. Get off me. Get off me.
Stop it.
Get off me.
With the conflict turning violent and escalating as time goes on, the enforcement agents can only hope that the police aren't too far away. Meanwhile, officers Steve Pinner and Paul Bohill are off to South London to carry out an eviction, completely unaware that they're about to witness one of the most bizarre freakouts of all time.
Morning.
What happened? Are you police?
No, High Court enforcement. This letter says that you and everybody else must leave the house.
Leave the house.
Yes.
But how? Okay, sir, you didn't give me any time. You didn't give me notice.
We don't have to give you notice.
How? Now, I have to say, this country, the United Kingdom, has a human rights.
Sorry, the human rights is a different department. It's nothing to do with us.
Okay, now you come to here.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Yes, you have human rights.
Yeah.
You have the right to live in this country.
Yeah.
You do not have the right to this house.
Yeah, alright, he's got a fair point here. So about 4 months ago, the landlord decided that he wanted to move back into the property. So he started the eviction process, but the tenants refused to leave, which led to a bitter feud which is still ongoing at this point. So tensions are already pretty high, but to make matters worse, the landlord has turned up at the property, leading the tenant to make some pretty serious accusations.
That one is criminal. After this, I saw that one.
Okay,
One
you
day,
need
sir.
to take that up separately. We're
Okay,
only
sir.
here involved with this house.
Okay,
That's
sir.
all.
I tell you something. That one, he would take a knife, would kill me. I show you the evidence.
The landlord, however, strongly denies the accusations. He claims that the tenants stopped paying rent and started to harass him when he asked them to leave.
And they send a lot of rubbish letters, accumulates me a personality, work and everything. As you heard, like it said, I'm a criminal. So make things very, very difficult for me, and it's very stressful to get them out as well. So
The landlord, he would take. He is a criminal. You can understand.
The tenant shows Paul a victim support card from the police.
He would kill me. Police no. At this moment, he is my enemy. Okay. Please.
Are the police dealing with that?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's nothing to do with me then, thank you. So, but you have till 1 o'clock to pack and go.
He just doesn't give a shit, does he? So Paul has given the tenant just under an hour to get ready. But the tenant isn't going without a fight, and once again his anger is directed at the agents.
I will sue you.
Okay.
You.
Okay.
This guy, he broke United Kingdom law. This guy, I use my human rights. The United Kingdom has human rights. The United Kingdom, this is a human rights country. This guy is illegal. This guy, okay, come here.
Come here, please.
This guy
Can I
is
ask?
not a
May
king.
I ask a
I
question?
use my human rights to against your power, evil power.
The judge's power.
Where is judge?
Here.
He's written that warrant.
Do you have
Are you a judge?
Okay, no, I
This
asked.
guy, this is evil.
I asked.
This is evil. You have to down to hell.
I-
You down to hell. Including you.
I'm
Both of
okay.
you, okay.
We're
This
all.
one, that
Yeah.
one, both of two person, they are evil.
You can
Both
go
of you,
now.
You
Thank
are
you.
not a king. You are
Thank
not a
you.
king.
I'm not
I
a king.
use my human rights
Just
to
take him
against
away.
you.
Just take him away.
Okay, illegal, evil.
Okay,
Evil.
I'm all right with
You
that.
are down to hell.
I'm okay with that.
This guy, he think he's great man. He's a king. He think he's a great man. He's king.
Please don't touch me. Whatever you do,
I didn't touch you.
whatever you
No,
do,
it's just-
don't touch me.
Oh god, you know, the longer this goes on, the more I'm starting to feel for the landlord. Evicting this tenant must have been an absolute nightmare. I mean, imagine sending this guy an eviction letter and like 3 days later you get something in the post. And it's just an 8-page letter with, "You are evil, you go down to hell, I use my human rights against you." Just written over and over again. Well, whilst Paul tries to calm down the angry tenant, Brian and Dell are still struggling to defuse the situation in the middle of a violent altercation.
Stand back! back! Stand back!
We're not moving anywhere. Stop it.
my house up now. Get out of
Stand back! Stand back!
out of my house.
Stand back! Stand back from me!
Listen.
Stand back!
Stop it.
Stand back! Stand back,
Look,
please!
we're not. Stop back.
pushing me.
What? Stop
Stand back.
it.
Stop pushing
We're
me.
not
Stand
leaving.
back.
Stop it.
Stop pushing me.
Stand
Get
back.
out of my house, please.
No, sir.
Please get out of
We're
my
not
house.
Don't threaten me.
Luckily for the team, a police officer arrives almost immediately.
Right, we're High Court enforcement agents.
okay.
I've arrived outside here. Colleague has come in.
Stood here.
All right? And we've stood right here.
Yep.
He's come now and he's flipped. Promised that I would get hurt if I didn't leave because he wouldn't be responsible.
It's all on
It's on
camera.
camera. They tried to push us out. I've been assaulted. We've pushed them away.
Yeah. So I've pushed them back using reasonable force. They've continued to come at us. Okay? We're here with a High Court writ which needs to be satisfied.
Yep. So
And this is the data here.
what do you require me to help you do?
Well, we're now going to go around the house and look at assets. Because I'd rather get payment here and leave. I don't think it's going to come to that. Then I need to determine what assets Brian has here. This is Dad's house.
What amount of payment do you talk
Hang on a moment.
Be 4,500 now. This is the writ.
You know, 4.5 grand is actually a ridiculous amount of money. I don't think these guys are going to have that kind of money in cash, and given the debtor still lives at home with his dad, I think the boys are going to struggle to find assets worth enough to cover this claim.
What we need you to do at the moment is just allow these gents to look around your house, okay?
Right. I won't. I can't have them in my house, please.
It's actually a criminal offence obstructing us.
They're a bit of paper.
Let me finish,
No.
please.
This is going to happen, okay? They've got the paperwork from the courts. There's nothing we can do about that at the moment.
Come ahead now. I am welcoming you into my house.
Okay, sir. Where shall we start? Just
Everything in here is mine.
everything is yours.
Everything.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
And after a quick inspection, Dell emerges.
But everything in there is Dad's. Cool. I got sweet for you, mate.
So with no assets to seize, Brian and Dell's only option is to allow the son's insurance company time to settle the debt.
Brian, I just want to say something, yeah? I'm really upset about what happened earlier. Yeah? I'm not in this job and done this job for 11 years to be put in a situation like that. I get no enjoyment out of it. Yeah? I've got 4 children. I'd like to go home in one piece. Yeah? I understand why you did it. Okay? And just talk to us next time if you ever get anybody like us. We're not unreasonable. It's a lesson learned. Yeah? All right? I want you to shake my hand before I leave today. Yeah. If you are liable for it, call me up and we'll sort it out.
So after an intense few hours, the men shake hands and call it a day. You know, I find it so much harder to pick sides in circumstances like this. I mean, obviously a court has decided that the debtor is at fault and someone out there is 4.5 grand down, but I really feel for the dad in this situation. I mean, imagine having 2 massive guys coming into your house saying pay thousands of pounds or they'll start seizing goods, and then having the police show up and say that there's nothing they can do. I think you'd be shaken no matter who you are. Anyway, as Brian and Dell wrap things up, Paul and Steve are still struggling to calm down the evicted tenant in South London.
I'd like you now to just get off the premises.
You think I'm stupid because
I don't
opened the
think you're
door?
stupid. I
I
think
don't
you're
need to open
upset.
the door. You are illegal. You are down to hell.
Please speak to your
illegal.
lawyer.
You will down to hell. I use my.
Have you got somewhere to go now?
No.
You need to bring a van.
Differently, it components because of you.
Oh, you know, this is definitely one of the worst things about this show. This is why this show is so hard to watch and make entertaining commentary on. I mean, it's not just like the airline freakouts where someone's losing their mind because they're about to miss a flight, or 90 Day Fiancé where one of the partners is heartbroken because they got into a relationship with someone who obviously just wants a visa. Like, this is often people's entire livelihoods. I mean, I know they owe people money or they're refusing to leave someone else's property, and I know the debt collectors are doing a legitimate job, but there are so many reasons that people can fall into debt. It's just nowhere near as one-sided as some of the other shows. Thankfully though, the debt collectors are actually pretty decent blokes. So given the tenant has 2 small kids, Steve pulls the partner to the side to offer some advice.
So once he calms down, take the paper to the council, explain to them everything that's gone on. They will help you. Hopefully they will help you.
See, this time to take a knife to kill me. I have reported Lewis police station and the police investigator. I just said.
After several minutes of speaking with his partner, the tenant is finally ready to listen to Steve.
Do you want to tell me anything?
To tell you anything, only that, you know the piece of paper that I gave you? I have been trying to tell you this all the time. Take this to the council. Explain to them what has happened this afternoon, okay? You have Paul's card. They can call our office. Go to the council. If there's a problem, call us. Okay.
Take care.
Okay, let's go. I've had enough.
And just like that, the fight comes to an end, but not before the tenant has the final word, bringing us from one of the greatest freakouts to one of the most touching moments in the show's history.
At least up to say, okay.
Sorry?
However, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Take care.
Yes, sir.
What did you say?
However, up to say, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Although we've given them the greatest shock of their recent lives, people will still thank us before they go. Since then, he's actually sent emails and so on apologising profusely for his behaviour. So he's actually levelled out.
Ah, what an ending. Well, that is unfortunately all we have time for today, so if you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Just to let you know, in between uploads, I'm going to be streaming a lot more frequently on Twitch. The link to that, along with my Twitter, Instagram, and other social media will be down below. So yeah, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.